This lesson is on conversions and converting between systems. So let's start. I cut my foldable. It was long like this. I folded it along the solid line and then cut so that I had two so that it would fit both on the page top to bottom. Okay, we're going to start with comparing unit rates. Now, a unit rate is defined as a rate with a denominator of 1 unit. So like per hour or per dollar or per minute or per shirt. Okay, so an example, Joey ran 10 kilometers in 2.5 hours, Jason ran 7.5 kilometers in 2 hours, and Olga ran 9.5 kilometers in 2.25 hours. Who had the fastest average speed? Okay, we need to compare each of these in terms of a unit rate. So my rate is kilometers per hour. So let's set up each of those so we see what we have. Joey was 10 kilometers in 2.5 hours. And then Jason was 7.5 kilometers in 2 hours. And Olga ran 9.5 kilometers in 2.25 hours. Okay? Good. So now what we need to do, none of these are in the same, they're in the same units, but they don't have the same denominator. So we need to make all of these denominators 1 so that we can compare those unit rates. So if I'm going to make this have a denominator of 1 hour, how do I get from 2.5 to 1? I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 2.5. Okay, so 10 divided by 2.5 is 4 kilometers. So Joey's average speed was 4 kilometers per hour. Jason's, if I want the denominator to be 1 hour because it's a unit rate, I'm going to divide by 2. So his speed was 3 3/4, so 3.75 kilometers. He ran that in an hour. So far, Joey's running faster than Jason, so Jason's out of the running. No pun intended. So then we have Olga, and we need her denominator to be 1 hour. I'm going to divide by 2.25. 9.5 divided by 2.25 is 4.2, and the 2 actually technically repeats, kilometers per hour. So who ran the fastest? Officially, Olga. Had the fastest average speed. Okay, she ran the furthest per hour. She had the fastest average speed. Good. So converting units then. If we're going to be converting units, we need a conversion factor. Okay, we need something to go by. And that a conversion factor is a ratio of 2 equivalent measures that are given to us in different units. So if I have 168 hours and I want to turn this into see how many days 168 hours is, I'm going to first write what I know. There are 24 hours in 1 day. Okay? Now I have to find how many days are in 168 hours. So I have 168 hours. Okay? And I want to know, how can I break this down? So I'm kind of doing a reverse here. How can I break down 168 into this 24? Well, what I'm going to do is actually divide by 24, and that will give me the number of days. And 168 divided by 4 is 7. So 7 days is 168 hours. Okay, divided by 24. Okay. So number 2, I've got minutes and seconds. So my conversion factor there, I know that in 1 minute there are 60 seconds. So if I'm looking for 4 minutes, how do I go from 1 minute to 4 minutes? I'm going to multiply by 4. So if I have seconds, I'm going to multiply by 4 because that's my conversion factor. And 60 times 4 is 240 seconds. So there's 240 seconds in 4 minutes. Example 3. I have 7 feet 3 inches and all I want is inches. So I see that I have part of my units already in inches. I'm going to put a box around it, come back to it later. But let's worry about how many inches are in these feet. My conversion factor is 1 foot for 12 inches. And I have 7 feet. Okay. And I want to know how many inches are in that many feet. Okay. So I'm actually going to multiply by this conversion factor of those 12 inches. So I'm multiplying by 12 to get 84 inches. That's 84 inches in 7 feet. But what I know is that I have to add these 3 inches here to get my total of 87 inches. That's how many total inches are in 7 feet 3 inches. Okay, that will get glued towards the top of the page. And then we have the bottom half. Move that for now. Okay, so I'm going to, if I'm converting between systems, so the first thing that I have to look at is writing my conversion factor. So that the units, the original units divide out and leave only the desired units. And I'm going to show you, it sounds complicated, but it's truly not. So we're going to take our conversion factor, which you can find on your conversion sheet, which is 1 inch, since that's my desired units. I'm going to leave them on top. And in 1 inch, there is 2.54 centimeters. Okay? And I'm going to multiply it by what I have. I have 89 centimeters. Technically, it's over 1. So 89 times 1 is 89. So 89, except for now, what's going to happen is my units are going to cancel out, okay? Almost, not quite. And I'm going to divide by what's on bottom. 254 times 1 is 2.54. Since this was top and bottom across like this, those are the units that are canceling. 89 divided by 2.54. We're going to multiply that, divide that out. Is 35 point, almost 04. That's how many inches are in 89 centimeters. Okay. Now we're going to go from 3 quarts and see how many liters that is. So I have there that since liters is my desired value, I'm going to end up leaving that on top. So I have my 3 quarts, and I'm going to multiply it by my conversion factor. And now on your conversion sheet, you'll see that 1 quart is 0.9464 liters. So multiplying those two will give me 2.8392. Okay, and since I'm technically dividing by this 1, that's what cancels out my units of quarts, and I'm left with liters. So now down here, this last problem, we have 5 kilograms, and I'm going to pounds. Since pounds is my desired unit, I want it to be on top. Kilograms will be on bottom, and my conversion factor, in 1 kilogram, there's 2.2 pounds. You can find that on your cheat sheet. And so then, again, multiplying across the top there, this is going to cancel out my units. 5 times 2.2 is about 11 pounds. Okay? So now we're just going to convert rates, which is the most extensive thing that we're doing so far. I have to get everything. I need 2 quarts per minute to turn into gallons per second. Now, what I need to make sure is that everything, I'm going to have 2 steps to get my rates simplified. So I have 2 quarts that I need to turn into gallons. So I'm going to deal with this part first. And I know that in 1 gallon there's 4 quarts. There's canceling out my units. So then I'm left with 2 over 4, or 1/2 gallons. And I'm going a little quick because the video is going to cut me off. And then I have, in 1 minute, how many seconds are there? I know that 1/2 gallon happens, 0.5, in a minute. So if I'm looking for seconds, okay, I'm going to multiply it by 60 because I know there are 60 seconds in a minute. So I have 1/2 times 60 is 30 gallons, and then per second. Okay, and the last problem that we have is a janitor found a pipe and it's leaking at a rate of 4 fluid ounces per minute, and I'm going to end up getting 2 gallons per hour. Okay, so I have my conversion factor, so I'm going to divide this ounces. Since I'm going to gallons, I'm going to divide by 128. I'm skipping a couple steps here just so that you can see it. You can set it up just like we did up here, but it'll end up being dividing by, because that's how many ounces are in a gallon. And so I have 0.03125 gallons leaking per minute, but I know that there are 60 minutes in an hour, so I'm going to divide by 60, and it'll give me 0.000521 gallons leaking in an hour.